God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. At this time, any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 5 minutes to address the court regarding matters not appearing on the agenda and on an item on the agenda. And just reminding you that the Commissioners Court may not deliberate or take action on any item that is not posted. Any discussion of the subject must be limited to providing specific factual information. All right. Mr. Morgan?
I'm Charles Morgan. I'm the Executive Director of Citizens for Environmental Cleanup. And we have worked an issue on the noise concerning our county. And I've sent letters to 27 county judges advising them of the problem that we have, and that they need to take action along with us. Now, our surrounding counties have a lot of oil and gas wells, compressor stations also. We have 130 gas compressor stations in this county alone. And we need to address this with you guys, Commissioners Court. What can we do to protect our citizens? That's what the law says. The Railroad Commission is to protect our citizens, but they're not doing that. And part of it is because of the State Attorney General gave an opinion based on what we gave them, and they didn't even look at the data that I gave them to back up what our county attorney had to say. They just ignored it. And they've also just ignored Section A of House Bill 1818. It says, Railroad Commission, you will protect our citizens. And they're not doing that. And the Attorney General says, oil and gas, you can put out all the noise you want to. That's his opinion. So we need to find a way to get that rescinded, and we need to find a way to work with our adjoining counties to say, hey, this is what we are going to implement, because the federal law is still in effect, and they delegated that authority to state and local governments. So we got to pick up the ball and run with it to control this noise that's killing our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we go to item number 1, to approve the minutes of the December 15th regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of the December 15th meeting.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Item number 2 is budget transfers and amendments.
Contingency, what was the fleet repairs? What was it for? $24,052.10.
That was for a vehicle, I believe.
What was wrong with it?
We got the it was in a wreck, if I'm correct, and we got the insurance money in the last budget. It was deposited in the budget that ended last September, but we didn't get the repairs completed until this budget. And so that money that came from the insurance company went into the fund balance.
I wasn't one of the new ones, was it?
No. I don't believe, was it? Wasn't one of the new ones.
It was 16 or 18. Chief. 18. 18.
Pardon?
It's the one with the two guys were hurt in.
Okay,
It was an 18.
18. So that's why it came out of contingency, because the money
Yeah.
didn't come out of this one. Any other discussion on the budget? Line item transfers.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve and pay the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
just people that, the reason we're doing autopsy is because of the JP saw it necessary to have them done? Is that usually why they have it?
And the JP then turns something in, signs off on the day they requested it.
I second Andy's motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve the payroll. We have a list of payroll salary changes in front of you. Couple of new hires. First, we go from part-time to full-time, JP4, since she did not have an appointment. And some admin time.
On the jailer that has frozen payroll military duty, do we know when he'll be back, or?
I have no idea. They give us a year on the paperwork.
Yeah, I know we've had that before.
You know.
Okay. I think it's a good deal.
And just so y'all know on that, we had to pay 21 days by law is what we had to allow him to be paid. But then once that stops, then everything's frozen. So he's not getting paid, he's not getting insurance and all for this next coming up January on until he comes back.
But he doesn't lose his benefits when he comes back. He
That's
starts
correct,
right where
he
he
starts
left.
right where he left off. And we verified that, Jeremy and us all verified that with TAC and
Oh, with
That we did all
what we
that
gotta
right.
pay and all that, yeah.
Mhm. Do we have a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Number 5, reports. We have a report from Debbie Hamilton, PJP, for November, and one for December from Debbie Hamilton. We have a JP3 report for November from JP3. We have a report from the extension agent on what they had done this last month and what they have calendared for this next month. We have from the treasurer's office a report on the unfunded liability and the sick, vacation, comp, and holiday time for the quarter. Are there any other reports?
I would just like to make a comment to the commissioners. If you guys know anybody that's bonded and licensed that can come in and fix a shower in my jail, it would be great. We've been trying almost the entire last year to have somebody come in. Nobody ever comes. We've had 2 people show up to give estimates. Neither one of them ever gave one. I had one in December show up out of Buffalo. They came in, they gave me an estimate. Now they won't give me any paperwork, so I don't know if they changed their mind, they're not talking to me, I don't know what happened, but we need that one shower shuts off 9 beds in our jail that we could be housing somebody, and we can't get anybody here to do it.
What does it need?
It needs to be completely overhauled, we gotta tear it out and put the new one in. The estimates have been running, well, anyway, we need it tore out and put in. The piping, everything is, the tiles all falling off the wall, so it's become dangerous, and so we've had to shut down 9 beds.
There are no trustees can do it?
No.
Is all that behind steel plate, the
Um,
plumbing itself?
trying to think, I know the floor is. I don't think the actual
Brick on
walls
the
of
wall?
it. Yes, I think it, yes. But we could use somebody, we've been looking and trying,
And we'll
Talking.
pay if they'll just come do it.
we just need them to come do it. They're just not showing up, they don't wanna do it.
Sounds like you're gonna need more than just a plumber. You have to have a structural guy also.
We'll need a plumber and some other things. We gotta get the plumbing part fixed first.
We've got the plumbers, we got the actual plumbers, we need the carpenters, the people that actually come in and
Oh, I
redo the
thought you
shower.
said with
The
a
plumbers,
licensed plumber. Okay.
we got a plumber ready to assist once it's all tore out and they can do what they need to do and then put it back in.
I may know somebody.
I mean, that's right, but they might have took a shower in there a few years.
So they would want it to be right, just in case.
And we find people all the time, but they're not licensed and bonded. That's where we run into another
Never
issue.
mind, this person I know is not
And
licensed.
they gotta be, so.
I think this guy's licensed and bonded, but yeah, I think he might know
He
where to
probably was
start.
bonded all right, but, all right. Do we have a motion to accept the reports?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Item number 6, burn ban.
Put it on,
Is that a motion?
yeah.
Put it on. I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor to put the burn ban on? Aye.
Excuse me, Linda. He made the motion, and who seconded? Clyde. Okay,
Craig made it.
yeah, I have it, he made it. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 7, special road use agreements. Are there any? If not, we'll go to item number 8, approve bond and education certificates. I do have a bond for Teresa Black. The bond is for $150,000. That is the district clerk. Have a bond for Andy Bonner for $1,000 and one for $3,000. Karen, do you keep copies of these?
Yes.
Would it be you to check and see if anybody that needs a bond doesn't have one? Or would it be the county clerk's office?
They can call me and we can look and see.
Okay, I'm asking, will you look and see
Yes.
if there's anybody
Oh,
that we need one for that may not have thought to get one?
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Do we have a motion to approve these bonds?
I'll make that motion.
I'll talk to you about it in a minute, Karen.
okay.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I'll need to sign these before we go.
Okay.
Item number 9 is to discuss the electronic poll books. Renee, would you like to introduce your new employee?
Yes, this is my new employee full-time, Sherry Hendricks. And this is Dana Parker, she's the one that's gonna be talking about the poll books for me, because I don't know much about them.
All right.
And I've given y'all each of us that they've given us, so.
Yeah, and just as a little backstory, you know, we thought, or were told, that we could use these, our old poll books with these, but that's not the case. So would you like to talk to us about all that?
You could use the poll books with your new equipment that you purchase. The problem is the state has now requiring the poll books to be certified, state certified. They will not certify the old poll books.
Did you send them to be certified?
They gave specific requirements, and those are not, we had to build from the ground up from what they wanted. It doesn't have anything to do with working with the equipment that you purchased. There's specifications that they are wanting now to be done with the poll books, so the new poll books have exactly what they want.
How old are the ones that we purchased?
That I do not know.
They've probably been out 10 years, 7 years?
No.
About 2016 is when we bought them.
When you bought them. But they were out, a few years before that.
So we've used them about 5 years. You want to talk about how they work? Some people may not be aware of that.
So when a voter comes in to check in to vote at the polling location, they will present their driver's license to the election judge. The judge will scan their driver's license. It pulls up the data from the voter registration system, shows the election judge what precinct the voter lives in, what ballot style they should get if they request, what party they request. It lets the judge know if they're in a city or what school district they're in, and that information all comes from the VR system. They'll then print a express vote card, and that's what you will take to the express vote, mark your ballot on the machine. It prints that card out so that you have your paper trail that you've had, and then you will deposit that into the DS200. It keeps the poll worker from selecting the wrong ballot style on the voting equipment. Where you had the old books before, we had to look it up and find their name in alphabetical order in the old paper books. This does everything for you.
Last time we voted, the poll workers were using a little sheet of paper, which would basically tell you what voting precinct that you were in. So, and you held that, and then once they walk you to the machine, they would know which number to put in. So this would cut out all of that.
Right.
Because that was confusing for them.
It was, and you have the
Confusing to me.
human factor of them selecting the wrong precinct or the wrong ballot style, and potentially giving a voter something that they shouldn't vote in, or not giving them a ballot that they could have voted in something.
So you check in at the poll book, do they hand you anything, or how do they know?
The voter would hand you the poll worker their driver's license, and then they would look them up in the poll book, and all their information would already be in the tablet, in the computer, from what she pulled in from the VR system.
Then when you walk over to the station, how do they hand you like the thing that goes in the?
Right, the express vote card, the little long skinny paper ballot, that will print a barcode on there that tells the express vote what ballot style you get.
So when they sign in the poll book, the poll worker hands them that piece
Yes.
of paper, and they take it over and put it in the machine.
Right. Right. It prints a barcode on there, then this machine scans it, so it knows exactly what ballot you should get.
So they still get handed something. Okay.
What's the difference in what we did when we voted for the amendments recently, whenever that was back not too long ago? What's the difference in that election and the upcoming one? I mean, basically that's the same thing that I think that I did when I went in there to do that. I handed my driver's license, they scanned it, they gave me a piece of paper, we go and put it in, and I mean, I'm just a little bit confused on what's the difference. Between that election and the next election.
There's not a difference. That's still looking up the voters. She would print a list for every single polling location that has the voters for that precinct in it and what ballot style they get. The difference is you are taking the human error out of giving the person the wrong ballot, selecting the wrong ballot on the computer, on the express vote. It also has all the forms that the state requires. So if you come in and you have somebody assisting you, that person needs to fill out an oath of assistance. All the forms are now inquired into the poll book itself. So she can print reports from our connecting system, our Connect, she would have on her computer. Once the election's over with, she can go in, she can print all the signatures from every voter that came in, every form that they filled out with the oath of assistance, name change forms, anything like that, she can print straight from her computer. She also will download the voters who voted into the state's team system. With the paper list that you had during the November's amendments, she had to go in manually, put those in for every single voter that voted. So that speeds up the process for that, for her.
So it mitigates the chance of error.
Era.
Yes.
Another thing, the poll books are online, aren't they? Now, the voting machines are not, but the
No.
poll
Right.
books are.
Right, they can be online. If you decide that you ever want to go to vote centers, which is where anybody can go to any polling location and vote, it's just like early voting but on election day, then you have to have those poll books connected to Wi-Fi so that they all talk to each other and somebody can't go to, the community church and vote and then turn around and go to the fire station and vote. It would show all the polling locations that person has voted.
Which is the same thing as us doing early voting 2 weeks in
Right.
Fairfield. It registers it so it can't go.
Right.
Vote here.
Right.
Are any other questions about the poll books themselves? If not, then let's talk about how many you think you need.
Well, I do not know that. I was thinking 19, but now it may be more like 17. So I just want to have a backup.
I would recommend a backup, just in case. The ones that you use for early voting, you can use again for election day. It's not like some of the voting, like the DS200, you have to be specific for what group that is. But these, if you use 2, I always say at least 2 for early voting, and then 1 for each polling location, and then a backup.
But then you said we could use the 2 early voting ones.
Right,
and the regular.
right.
So if we had those 2, they would be like extras on voting day.
Right.
And we have 13
13,
boxes.
13 polling place, yeah.
So 15?
I'm thinking 15, yeah, maybe 15, 16 tops now, since we don't have those other polling places.
Right.
The 19 was, I put in when we had those other ones, so, yeah,
Do we have 2 early voting places?
We do.
yes.
Fairfield and Teague?
Fairfield and Tig, yes.
On the implementation services on these charges down here, what is the acceptance testing, project management, what is all that?
So acceptance testing, when we come in and the equipment is delivered, we'll come in and test it, make sure everything's working fine, that there's been no damages to anything when it was shipped to you. Project management day, kind of if something else happens, she needs me to come out and help train her poll workers, I can do that for her. And then a training day would be the day that I come and train her and her office staff.
I can see paying for training, but I think that acceptance testing, I think that should be on your company. I mean, we're buying them from you, you're responsible for making sure they get here to us and work correctly. If they get damaged in the mail, that's not our fault.
Right.
Maybe y'all can check them out, but I don't see what the county should have to pay $1,795 to make sure something works that we're buying to be working.
Okay, I can let the sales guy know that wrote up the contract for you that you want to take that off.
And on tell me again, the project management is if you came just to train her individually?
The training day is when I come and train her in her office, and we set everything up for her. Usually a project management day is used for training poll workers that come in, and then also helping her set up for the first election when we're ready to get, when she's got her stuff turned in and we make sure everything's good and, get her set up ready to go.
That $2,000 for that license, hosting fee, is that a one-time expense?
Yes.
Well, down at the bottom, it says Express Poll Connect software license fee and hosting services. Is that per year? The maintenance is the $23.75, that's on the machines, and then the license is $2,000 each year. And hosting services at the bottom.
Right, it says annual software license and hosting support fees.
You do have these on hand,
Yes.
not on a boat in
No.
San Diego?
No, they're not.
Everything else is on a boat.
We do have some on a boat, but we do have some.
Well, hallelujah.
And on election day, we all have somebody available if we need if something goes wrong.
We always have somebody available. We have a software and hardware support line that's open on election day. Usually the counties will also have support on hand. I know she's had that before, and I think even when Linda and them were doing it, they had it for every election, so. Site support is somebody that's actually here on hand for election day.
Because we have had problems before with the machine or something, like the battery be down or something like that, or
Right,
there's problems.
right.
And have we checked those to make sure that they're all ready to go, the machines? Or will we do that?
Yes, we did that this first go around with these new machines. And Dana and I, we went around, checked every one of them. Once we placed them, now, we did have a little problem with one of our machines, but we had enough, and we went out and replaced it really fast, and everything went smoothly. So,
I knew we had some problems somewhere.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a machine. I think they may only had one there and people were having to wait.
they had two. And Dana and I drove out there with an extra one, just in case we needed to switch it out. We did, we switched it out, everything went smoothly, and it was all good, because it was ready to go. That's why I said I needed a backup for two, just for that reason.
Sure.
So this quote we get today, it'll need to be changed down to 16 instead of
Do you think
19?
we need 3 extras? I mean, they're new, surely we're not gonna have them go out.
Yeah, two extra would be good.
For like busy elections too, if she puts one at a polling location and then, so say November's general election, she has a, 10-minute wait or 15-minute wait because we've only got one poll book to check somebody in. If she has a couple of extras, she can go place another poll book at that polling location at that time to kind of speed the line up and get the process going. So that would be what an extra would use for, not necessarily in case one went down.
One goes bad, you can have two, like in Fairfield,
Yeah.
two in Tig, and have one extra or whatever.
Some of your busy locations.
Yeah, the busier locations is what I was thinking.
We're sticking with the 19.
No.
No,
No, it's either 15 or 16 now.
yeah.
Okay.
Is this just discussion, or are we supposed to do anything else?
Well, I would think we need to decide right now how many we're gonna want, so that they can get us a new invoice. And on that,
I think we ought to bump it 1795.
acceptance testing.
Right.
All right, and then get a new, so is it 15 or 16?
Depending on how much backup we want.
Before, the machines we used, you couldn't use for early voting, you couldn't use in the regular
Correct.
election thing, so that made us have to have even more extras.
And that's the voting equipment itself. The DS200 you can't use for early voting, that you can use for election day. Express votes you can use multiple times around, and the poll books you can use multiple times.
That's why you have two extras.
There too.
And then if need be, we'll know, and we can always order more.
Correct.
If it turns out that we can
Okay.
order.
Correct.
Okay, so we're talking about 15 for right now, and then, or 16.
13 boxes,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll be 15 if you want to.
And then you can determine if you want more, and we can always go back and get more.
Okay.
Sounds good. If you'll send us in, a new,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is I guess an invoice.
Yes, ma'am.
Send an invoice, not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion. Or,
To purchase 15
15.
tablets and, with all of the fees other than the acceptance testing fee. Is that your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there a second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 10 is to discuss let's pass on that one today, on item number 15. No action. Let's
Number
bring
10?
Number 10,
Yeah, 10, let's pass on that. And I'll give you a copy of this so that you can have a review before the next agenda. Item number 11 is to consider appointment or reappointment of the health authority. I had contacted our current health authority, and he had requested that if there was anyone else that would take that position, he requested that we try to see if we could. He said if we could not find someone, he still would continue. But I appreciate what he's done. He's worked, these last 2 years have been years that we've had to have things done. Before that, I think our health authority we didn't require really anything from him. And I had called the hospital to see if they had a doctor on staff that would serve in that position. And it was Dr. Berger that had agreed that he would serve as the health authority. If we wanted to appoint him.
He wants to serve, he'll serve.
He said he would serve.
I'll make a motion we appoint him.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 12 is to consider implementing Freestone County Corrective Action Plan for the project for the Texas Community Block Grant, contract number 7219501. You know, when you have a grant, they always have requirements. And this grant says that the county did not disperse draw funds within the required 5-day time frame for 3 separate draws whenever they did an audit for us. And so we are agreeing that we will follow their requirement of a 5-day time frame for any draw, that we will pay that out within that 5 days. In order to do that, though, you need to know if we get one in between time, we'll just have to have a special meeting to do it. And the special, and that
ARP money,
community,
this is on the ARP money.
no, this is on, community block grant, which is right now the
Butler Water.
Water has a community block grant. So do we have a motion, to approve complying with the requirement of the block grant of a 5-day time frame for, payment of funds?
I'll make that motion, very important, we apply.
It is.
A second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried.
Now, that was to approve, not just to consider, right?
Approved.
Or approve.
to approve the Freestone County Corrective Action Plan. I guess that's the way the motion should be stated. Is that in your motion? Is that your
Yes.
motion? Is that the second?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Just as it says on the agenda.
Yeah, well, the agenda said to consider it.
Well, we consider everything.
Yeah,
So
I just want to make sure my
Oh,
minutes,
yeah.
I put
Oh, yeah.
approved.
if
Yeah.
we vote on it, then,
Okay.
yeah, to vote to, the motion was to implement the Freestone County Corrective Action Plan. Thank you. Item number 13 is to accept the following donations from John and Vicki Cheek, $50, Carol Biggert, $25, Greg and Catherine Jackson, $25, Mark and Jane Phillips, $25, Don and Gail Carpenter, $25, and Richard and Charlotte Sander, $25. This is for the benefit of senior services.
Make that motion to accept the donation.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 14 is to accept a donation from Calpine for $750 for the sheriff's department.
Make that motion to accept $750.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried.
That's an annual donation that the sheriff's office has been able to get over the years since,
Mhm.
we've taken, come in, and we appreciate that very much. That's how we ended up getting our less lethal tasers, and that's how we actually replace them and get the thing for them, so that's a
Well,
good.
we appreciate people having this interest to want to support the sheriff's department and senior services. We appreciate both of those. Item number 15 is to consider and approve the sale of a 2010 Ford 350 single rear wheel 4x4 diesel truck through closed bids, precinct 3.
This is a truck that we've done this once before, didn't get any bids. We brought it back to Commissioner's Court to take it to auction, but the wholesaler that was gonna take it to auction, I kinda had a number in my head of what I thought the truck ought to bring. He said he didn't think that we would get that by the time we paid the transportation and the commission at the sale. So we sat on a little bit longer, and the other day I had someone show interest, and I think that when we run it in the paper, there needs to be a minimum bid of $5,900 for the truck. If we can't get that, I don't think we should sell it.
So the motion is to go out for closed bids for the truck with a minimum bid of
$5,900.
$5,900. Is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 16 is to discuss the resolution for the grant application for the county attorney office vehicle.
So we are looking to move forward with approval from the Commissioner's Court to go through HotCog to try to get an office vehicle, mainly for my investigator. I mean, we could use it in several different functions, but he goes around the county quite a bit and assists law enforcement, whether it's the local PDs or sheriff's office or anything like that. So having an office vehicle for him not to go use his personal vehicle will be very good for us. Picking up witnesses, going and interviewing witnesses, or locating defendants, helping serve warrants, all of those things. Again, I think it's pretty clear his personal vehicle. It'd be nice for him to get out of his personal vehicle into something with some lights and a siren and be able to go do those functions. But the point of me standing up here today is just literally to get a resolution signed approving me to move forward with HotCog to try to get this grant. We haven't filled out the application yet, don't know whether we're going to get it or not. And so again, right now we're just at the outset of this process.
That's great. They do have things available at HotCog
The
often, and we don't apply as often as we should.
It was interesting, the lady from HotCog, and I forget her name, and I apologize for that, came over. She was very helpful and talked to us about some grants that are available. Right now, we're just focusing on this. This is our biggest need, but we'll look forward in the future and maybe being able to get some more money from Hot Cog to assist, so I was happy that she came over and was as helpful as she was. If you approve, the top page, Judge, is just the resolution. The second page is something I got from Hot Cog as well that needs to be signed. Basically, that we're going to follow federal law, which we're going to try our best to do. So,
Do we have a motion to pursue a grant through the Heart of Texas Council of Governments for an office vehicle?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None.
thank you.
Motion carried. All right, and we will get the clerk's office, I guess, to stamp this.
Yes, ma'am, that'd probably be
And
the
then you get a
best.
copy?
And then I'll get a copy from them.
Okay. Or the original, actually, you probably need from her.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Now, item number 17 is presentation by Candela Renewables. Are there representatives here? We did not make it today. All right. Are there any comments from Commissioners Court members?
One of my employees, mother passed away on Monday. She's a very prominent lady in Wortham. She was a teacher there forever. Her name is Miss Jones, and I'm sure most people know the Jones family. And just keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
Last week a guy called me about these panels, solar panels, it's flat on the ground, you know. I understand there's one in the east part of the county and then the west part. The west part is one he asked me about a tax abatement. He couldn't tell me who owned the company, foreign company, he wants a tax abatement. Supposed to be in here today, and I ain't talked to him. Spent $200 million out there.
Is it through this?
Then he wants a tax abatement.
Is it through this Candela? Is that the one, or do you know?
No, it's always said.
Okay, all right, well, we'll have to put it on.
There's gonna be a big one in my precinct, up by Streetman, down, all the way down 246, it's gonna be large. And if you keep up with the other counties, they're gonna have some public hearings in Devere County because they have some there. And, there's quite a bit of discussion about that. So I'm gonna try to keep up to speed on that up there, and I'm gonna try to attend that meeting.
I might like to go also,
Okay,
see what they've got to say.
it's gonna be a public meeting at the Commissioner's
All
Court.
right,
I give this guy the number here at the office.
okay, great.
He called,
He called to get on the agenda, but, oh, we wouldn't have known. All right, any other discussion? Anyone on Commissioner's Court or anyone? I'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried.